1, 2, 3. Greetings and salutations.
The universe is just doomed.
Hello.
Hi, hello, and welcome.
Hello, sweetie darlings.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
So, we are here to talk about
Absolutely fabulous.
fucking iconic
Our
TV
wheel is
show.
on fire, and it's rolling down the goddamn road.
And we are here unsupervised
Nope.
once again.
Yep.
We have no research assistant.
Nope.
Just flying solo.
Yep.
And so we are going to see if we can bring the magic of Absolutely Fabulous to you.
Because I feel like this is a special one.
This is a special one.
Yes.
So this show started in 1992 in the UK, but we did not see it until 1994.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have been 14, 15 when I first saw this on Comedy
12,
Central.
13
Yeah.
on Comedy Central. Yep, that's right.
And so we're not going to do any Doom Biz tonight. It's a special occasion.
It's a very special occasion, darling.
I'm not worrying about all that tonight.
I'm not worried about nothing tonight.
We've had our Stoli. We are nice and toasty and prepared.
We are 92% proof. We are flying down those stairs, coming at you.
So we'll be tumbling out of the car door.
So Absolutely Fabulous. This was based on a sketch
From
right?
French and Saunders.
French and
Saunders. French and Saunders. So yes, if you know AbFab but you don't know French and Saunders, you really should. I think YouTube. I think you can find some
Yeah.
episodes on YouTube.
And that went way back. We found out that they
started in 87 to 93 was their original run.
met in school.
In 77.
Yeah.
Where French and Saunders, Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders were both in acting school to be acting teachers.
Right.
And they got to be part of a comedy troupe called, I think, Five Go Mad.
Yeah, that was something. And then
And it had some of the young ones,
comedy
actors.
strip?
Yes.
Or that was
comic
the name
strip.
of the comic strip, and that was maybe the name of the place.
Yes.
But yeah, the members of
Some of the members of Young Ones were
Rick
in
Mayall and Adrian Edmondson, which also
Is Jennifer Saunders' husband.
and sings half of the theme song, at least in the beginning.
Yeah. And the whole idea of the show Absolutely Fabulous was from a sketch from French and Saunders.
Called Modern Mother and Daughter.
Which in that one, Jennifer played Eddie,
she was Adriana.
And Dawn played Safi.
Right,
who was still Safi.
And there was a lot of lines that were similar. They had that.
They made sure to include somewhere in the series the Safi making sure Eddie had condoms.
Oh yeah, condoms and femidoms.
Oh my god!
She actually wanted to have sex in that one. There was only a couple where she's like, sometimes she's into doing sex and sometimes she doesn't do the sex.
She can't decide. I think because Patsy's so into sex, she's like, well, I guess I'm supposed to be, but
Well, also she tells like, I can never just do that. You're like a vessel waiting to be filled.
And so this show ran from 92 to 2012.
Well,
and
there
then
was like a bunch of spaces in between. Like
Right.
It ran 92 to 94, 95 to 2001, and then 2003 there was like a season, and
Right.
then 2012 was like three episodes.
three episodes,
They
and
called
then-
those ones specials.
And then we had the movie in 2016.
Right, which we went to go see. We made
Yes.
sure to get our ticket. We
Which,
joined all
God,
the
it seems
things.
like it came out longer ago than that. 2016 is
know.
what? 6 years ago? 5 years ago? 7 years ago? I don't know.
Girl,
What's
I don't
math?
even know. Corey was still here.
Okay.
She went to go see it with us. And we all got not dressed up, but we put on at least something, and we went to go. We got all shit hammered, I think, and we went to the
That sounds about right.
we went to the show, and we went to go see it. I only saw it that one time because it only played. What was it, at the Egyptian?
Maybe. And then I just watched it for this episode, and that was only the second
I was
time
watching
I had
all
seen
of
it.
that. I told you I spiraled. I had watched all these episodes and didn't take notes because I was like, oh, it's too soon.
Right.
But I wanted to watch it, and it was
I did
on
the
Hulu.
same. Yeah.
And
So yeah, you guys, this is on Hulu, and
yeah.
I think it's also on Tubi.
It's on Tubi, and the one episode that we couldn't find anywhere else is on Tubi.
Is on Tubi. So we'll get to that. But there's an episode
right.
that for some reason is not with the groups of episodes you find elsewhere.
Right.
And we did not figure out why.
No, and there's also that 2-part, The Last Shout, which is available on YouTube.
Right.
In both parts. And then the movie is available nowhere.
Oh, yeah. I know how we got it. Never mind. I was like, how did we watch it? Or how did I watch it? No, never mind. I know. And so if you have never seen Absolutely Fabulous, the pilot episode pretty much sets up everything you need to know about this universe.
People are. It's an immediate window into this one. Well, do we talk about the cast?
Okay, let's introduce the
talk
cast.
about the people. We got Jennifer Saunders, who is Edina Monsoon, Eddie Monsoon.
And do we want to talk about that name? That it's
Oh, right. That because it's also
Edmondson is her
Edmondson,
husband's
so
last
Eddie
name.
Monsoon, and then also Adriana was a play off of Adrian Edmondson's name.
And if you don't know who Adrian Edmondson is, if you know the young ones, that's Vivian.
right, the one with the stars on his forehead.
Yes.
I used to have the biggest crush on Vivian.
He was the most like I don't give a fuck
Well, because
character.
he was wild.
And then Mike from the Young Ones is in this. So both Adrian and you know the cast. What's Mike's name?
I didn't put his name on.
No,
here.
Marshall.
Marshal Turtle.
Yes.
Marshal Turtle is Christopher Ryan,
Yes, him.
which is weird because all of the main characters, Jennifer Saunders, Joanna Lumley, Julia Sawalha, June Whitfield, and Jane Horrocks, all
J names, yeah.
and both of her ex-husbands, Marshal Turtle and Justin, who never had a last name,
Never says.
are both Christopher Ryan and Christopher Malcolm, respectively. They're both Christopher two names.
Interesting.
Christopher two first names. Christopher two first names.
And I'm
You
kind
can't
of
trust 'em.
surprised the other cast members of the Young Ones didn't show up elsewhere in this show. Maybe these were the two that were in the comedy troupe with them in school. Maybe it was Adrian and Christopher.
Maybe. I'm not sure, but
As usual, we're not great at doing our research.
we tried
We've been
to
doing
do-
this for months.
we're going to be talking about a lot of feelings, so just you wait. Just you wait. It's going to be great.
Well, and before we even get into the pilot, if you guys haven't, if you're not part of our Patreon, I don't know if we've told this story. I think we only told this story maybe when we've appeared on guest spots on other podcasts. But part of the reason this podcast exists
Is because of Absolutely Fabulous.
because of the ISO tank episode, because of we'll get there, and I'm sure we'll get into it. But like you guys owe hearing us now to Absolutely Fabulous.
We really do. We really do. Well, it's funny because when we were watching that thing last night about like, the greatest comedy duo, female comedy duo, we're like, until now.
They are the reigning champs, but we're
Right.
coming for you.
We're coming for you. We're coming for your
ya.
gig. Well, it's been long enough, right? Like, it's not like we're toppling anything. It still exists as a entity.
Well, the movie was 2016, but I
There's
haven't heard
room.
of any specials or anything coming out since.
There's room for us. Well, they do a bunch of other voiceover stuff. But anyway, the
Did you
pilot.
do all the cast?
Aside from Naoko Mori, which is Sarah, aka Titicaca.
Titicaca.
Mo Gaffney is Bomo Chrysalis. Gary Beadle is Oliver, who is Justin's partner, his
Right.
boyfriend. Miranda Richardson is Bettina and Max, and that's Patrick Barlow. Kathy Burke is Magda. Harriet Thorpe is Fleur. And Helen Leder is Katrina.
Those are the dummies, right?
Right, they're the extra
I just always think
two.
of them as the dumbasses.
They always work with Patsy. They work at her
the magazine.
yeah.
So we meet in the pilot
Right.
Eddie right off the bat, who wakes up hungover.
Got all that shit on her
Bedside
table
table.
that she like, and Safi's coming, so she just dumps it.
Yeah, and that's a recurring theme. The her waking up to the alarm, just stunned that life has happened again. That she's lived another day. And yeah, dumps all the shit in her fucking own bed to hide it from her 16-year-old daughter.
Right, because you'll find out that Safi
Is the parent here.
well, that, and she's a real bite in the ass.
Yes, she's a wet blanket.
She really is. I don't know why she stays.
I don't know. So, like, it makes it very clear in the first 5 minutes the dynamic of mother and daughter here.
Right.
And then she comes downstairs and we discover her susceptibility to psychic nonsense.
Oh, yeah, she does her chanting, and she has to call, what is it, Shikani?
For her color
For
of
my
the day.
green. Thanks, darling.
It's more goes into it than that.
Yeah,
It's not as easy as that.
No, there's things and channels and who I was in a previous life.
And we also find out right away that she has an issue with her weight, that whether she's actually fat or not, she's always thought and will always think that she is fat.
Right.
And she just needs a few little crutches to get through life.
Just a few little crutches to get through life, darling. Like all of these things that they say in this first season
Are pretty iconic.
Well, they are iconic, but they also come up again. It's the groundwork for Safi's play.
Yes, a lot of these lines are in Safi's play seasons later.
Right.
You live in from self-induced
Crisis to self-induced crisis. Somebody tells you what to eat and what to wear, and 3 times a week someone sticks a tube up your bum and flushes it all out of you.
Oh, you want me to be like a normal mom?
Yeah,
you want me to be
a
on the toilet
goer.
A toilet
Where's
goer.
Mommy? She's on the toilet. Oh my God.
Do I need surgery, darling?
Yes.
Get your mouth sewn up.
Oh, I tried that, but my will to speak was too strong.
And we also find out Eddie's love for La Croix.
Oh, La Croix. It's La Croix.
La Croix, sweetie.
It's La Croix. There's this bodysuit that she's wearing. Like, it's just a mess, but it says La Croix.
Yes, that's all that matters.
Huge on her chest.
As long as
Like,
you know the
that's-
brand.
Well, La Croix, sweetie, it's fabulous, darling. Well, because even when Patsy shows up,
Yes, so we meet Patsy.
and she's like, she kind of looks at her. She's like, it's La Croix, sweetie. It's like, oh, it's fabulous, Ed.
And you see right away how she feels about Safi. He just like hisses at her like a vampire in a cross.
Right.
It's 10:30 in the morning and Pats is ready to stop at Harvey Nick's for lunch. So they're on
Right.
the way to work now. Or well,
They have a heavy day.
yes.
It's a real heavy day. She's got her fashion opening thing. She wants Safi to come to her fashion opening or whatever it is that she's doing, the runway thing that she's
Yes.
doing. And she's like,
And we get our first mention of her long lost son, Serge.
right, like, where is he?
Abandoned by the son and the daughter.
Right, like one punishes us by staying and one punishes or leaving and the other one punishes us all by staying.
And Pats is like, come on, they ruin your figure. Cut the cord, darling.
Right.
And Pats has a pregnancy test. So like at this point, they're in their, well, she's almost.
She's 39.
Eddie's probably 39, and Pats, we
Possibly.
find out later, is for some reason much older than Eddie, even though they went to school together.
Yeah. Unless Edina's that old, but she made it out to be that she was young when she had these children.
And when Pats gets her pension later on, Eddie's not
She's got,
eligible
like,
for her
millions
pension
of
yet.
dollars. Oh man. Yeah, oh God.
And we meet Eddie's assistant, Bubble.
Oh.
Which,
Who
I mean,
she's-
Bubble is like, she has some of the best fucking laugh
Bubble
out loud
is an
shit.
entity.
Yes.
Bubble is a whole moment. Like, I
Yes.
love Bubble. Like, I
Yes.
will watch Bubble. I'll watch the Bubble show. In fact, it kind of sucks because that's why she came back as Katie Grin later, is because she didn't want to
She didn't want to just be Bubble.
be Bubble and whatever. And
well, because she had originally auditioned to be
she was
Safi,
gonna
right?
be Safi, I guess, and that was why they created Bubble, was because they needed to have more
of her.
people than just the sketch.
Well,
that
yeah,
they
because
had.
the
They had
sketch
to
was
expand
just Safi
them
and Mom.
too.
That
Right.
was it.
And so they had to add other characters, so they created this character of Bubble for Jane Horrocks because they liked her.
And she's fucking hilarious.
She really is.
She's
She's
so
got
inept, but
Those
so
clothes
good.
that
Oh,
she wears,
God.
like they could put her in fucking anything.
She's wearing, like,
hello.
inflatable things. It doesn't even matter.
Oh,
And so, yeah, they're trying to get ready for this runway launch. So she goes into work and...
Like, I need names. Like, nobody panic. I'm here. She says that.
Yasmin Lebon is ill.
Yeah.
And
she
thought
called
it
like
was
Simon Le Bon. Like, I thought it was really cool that she took he took her last name.
And they're like, oh my God, you don't even know who Simon Le Bon is.
Right. And she was like, Princess.
It was supposed to be, they wanted Princess Di. And
Right.
she's
like Anne.
Anne? Why do
like,
you keep saying Anne?
Like, as well as, instead of only.
Some sort of mix-up.
Yeah. Right. But she's really game.
And Patsy's still talking about going to lunch, which is like,
Right.
Patsy is always talking about going to lunch, and
She
we
never
find out that
eats.
Patsy
She
does
hasn't
not
eaten
eat.
since 1973, except for that crisp, which she
Yes,
hasn't
which-
eaten yet.
The way she eats the crisp. She's just choking on it.
She hasn't had a movement since 1974.
Oh, and then we find out Patsy does have a job. She works at a magazine.
Right. She's the fashion editor. She's like, snap my fingers and the hemlines are so high, the world's your gynecologist. She does that thing with the eye thing and
Yes. I want to say that happens more than once.
yeah.
And then we have a flashback of the teen years. You meet Gran, her mom.
Oh, yes, when they're passed out, because that's the thing. Safi doesn't want her to party. She doesn't want her to drink
Yes.
and get drunk at this opening. She doesn't want to go, but she doesn't want her to have any fun.
No.
So there's a flashback of her coming home drunk with Patsy, letting her out of the car. And like, your father would love to see you, dear.
That's the most you ever see of the dad, is that like
Right, except for
silhouette
when
of the
he's
dad.
dead.
Yes, you see a little bit of his corpse.
It's like
later
all-blown
on.
coffin.
Oh, God. So, yeah, so we set the precedent of her coming home completely wasted,
Oh, she
falling out of the
falls
car,
and she said she got that from Bananarama.
which you just told me before we recorded, and that is insane. So tell
Yeah.
that story.
That's how she had told. Apparently, Jennifer Saunders had told the story about she got the idea of watching Bananarama, partying with Bananarama, and how much vodka they drank. That she based a lot of these mannerisms and these parties, whatever, on her
And the falling out of the car,
falling
literally.
out of the literally taking that from times that she watched them fall out of cabs.
That's insane. She's like, sweetie darling, let me in.
Sweetie darling, let me in. Help, mama.
Help, mama.
She's like, she just closes the door.
So that is basically your setup.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I think you don't see in episode 1 that will be important later is that for whatever reason, the long lost son Serge's dad, Marshal,
Right.
and his new wife or girlfriend, Bo.
It's Bo in the first one, and then in the second one, it's the other.
Right, it goes to a
lady.
different girlfriend. But like
it's weird
he's
they
still
have to-
around for some reason.
I know, like he hangs out even though.
And it would be different if Serge was younger, where like he had been Safi's stepdad for a period of time. But no, there's absolutely no reason for him to keep showing up.
No,
But he
none.
do. But he do.
He do. He's real dependent
I guess.
on this relationship. He's always very dependent on Bo. Mm-hmm. Through a lot of them, through their
Bo's his
scams
caretaker.
later on. But he has like, there's 2 times. There's conversations about one with the other therapist that he's dating, the blonde one, when her
Yeah.
dad dies. And then later on with Bo, where they both gift Edina a book about that they wrote themselves about their whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And both of them say something about, oh, this was a quality moment. Can I have a quality moment? I'm sensing tension.
Ah, yes. Bo's always sensing things.
Yeah, she smells a group.
Yes. So we could not figure out how exactly we want to go through this series because
It's so, like, it's not a lot. And it
No.
seems like it should have been more. And it wasn't. It was only, 39 episodes?
39
Kim said?
episodes total.
Maybe 40 with the one that we found.
So the first 3 seasons were 6 episodes. The 4th season was 7 episodes.
yeah.
I think the 5th season was 8 episodes.
Yes.
And then the 6th season was only 3 episodes.
Yes.
And then we have the movie.
Right. And then the 2-part.
Yeah. And
Right.
so the British series are always shorter because they know not to.
Stay too long.
Yes.
They only give you a taste, and we wanted more. We're
We wanted
gluttons.
more.
We're gluttons. We wanted all of it.
And so we don't want to just go through every episode just like quoting off like the best quotes, but
it's so hard.
good. There's some
It's
great
so
quotes.
hard. Like, what do you like? Okay, so I don't know. What's one of your favorites?
Well, let's go to ISO Tank because that's season
that
one.
one's the one that I feel is most us.
Season 1, episode 4 is the ISO Tank episode. So
Right.
we open with you think it's just Eddie in the dark in the ISO tank.
She gets a phone call in the ISO tank. And this is the one, I told you, this is the note that I had before we started the podcast of like what the ideas were. And it was the ISO tank for 2 because of this scene.
Because of this scene, right?
What we were talking about. And she gets a call and Safi calls her in the isolation stage. She's like, oh yeah, somebody called for Patsy, but I couldn't find her. And she was like, oh,
and she's in the ISO tank
in
with
there
her
with
smoking.
her. She's like, you got to learn how to do this
by yourself
on your own. She's like, don't close the door. But she does.
So yeah, the idea for this podcast stemmed from that if either of us was going to go in an ISO tank, we would have to go together.
Well, it was like when they're at the school and they're trying to round up parents to go see the headmaster. She's like, can I bring my friend?
Yes.
Like, that's
I'm not going by myself.
it's always
right?
just us. It's always just us.
And so they go down and they embarrass Safi in front of her nerdy friends in this
She's having a
episode.
meeting. They're doing the DNA whatever. And there's all she's like, oh, Sisters Grimm can attempt you. Right, like entering a no fun zone, and there's Danny.
Oh, and Pat's right
Danny,
off the bat has the hots
hey,
for one of the
right.
students, Danny.
And like, you can have whatever you want, Danny. Whole house is at your disposal.
And so Eddie throws a tantrum. She's going to the ISO tank.
Right,
She's
she
going to
wants
OD
to
on
go-
pills because Safi won't let her go to open house at her school.
Right, she wants to go to the presentation at the open house.
Well, fine, I'll adopt a Romania baby.
Oh no, you won't. Like, yes,
Oh,
I will.
I will.
Well, because this is all like when Bubbles like super.
So Bubble normally can't get shit done.
No,
but
Bubbles-
what happens to her in this episode? Why all of a sudden she's efficient? I can't remember.
It just turns out that she's well. You find out later why she's efficient because all of this is a dream.
Oh, that's
that
right.
She has in the isolation
Right.
tank, but like it turns out that she's super efficient.
She calls Bubble
She
like,
calls
"Get me
her up.
Romanian babies."
Right, send over a selection. I'll just choose one.
And so finally, Safi's like, "Fine, you can come to my open house." And now she has forgotten about the Romanian baby thing.
Well, no, she tries to call her back, but Bubbles.
Oh
already
yeah,
left.
she can't get a hold of
She
her.
said the Romanian deal's gone through.
That's right.
She's like, oh no, like that. She couldn't possibly, like, could she?
And is this where they get called into the office
Yes.
to meet the dean or
Yes,
something?
they go to meet the headmaster.
Yes.
And they're waiting outside. Can I bring my friend? And they're waiting outside. It's the flashback to when they were in school.
And they got called to like the principal's office.
Dirty, disgusting, devil children. It was them having it off, not me.
Oh, I know. She's such a rat. Eddie's always ratting her
Well,
out.
because why is she even there? Like,
I
if
know.
It was
She
Pats
shouldn't
and
be in
Tony.
trouble.
Well, when they got in there, and when they finally get called in present days, it's Tony.
And
He's the
yes, Tony's the
headmaster.
headmaster. So the one that Pat's got off with in high
Yes,
school
or
is now the
whatever
headmaster.
Year that was, they were in uniforms. And whatever. The
And see,
timeline is sketchy.
My guess is that because Patsy's mom was so negligent that they
Maybe.
moved in nearby and Pats and Ed made friends, and that Eddie's mom put Pats into school with Eddie even though
Probably.
she was a decade older
because
than
she
her.
feeds her because she's so skinny. Stinky blanky
Because
lanky
she was
legs
more
and
a
banana
mom.
feet.
And they have more of a bond. Like you'll find
Right,
through the
Mrs.
series
M.
that Pats and Mrs. M are closer
Sad
than
old
Ed and
Patsy,
Mrs. M.
even though
Yeah.
she calls her sad old Patsy.
She does, but she took care of her and she carries her little bank book in her
That's
purse.
right. She does. She's been taking care of her.
Of
What's
her
left
finances.
of her paperwork, her mail, her post book or whatever the fuck they called it. But yeah, they end up going in there and it's Tony. Like, oh shit, Tony.
And so she gets off with Tony, and then they
Again.
go back into the lecture, and this is when a bevy of Romanian babies are delivered.
Pulls out, she's like, do you want the DLA shirts? She made the wrong shirt. She's
Oh
like,
yeah, instead of DNA. It made you shirts for your
they-
presentation.
right. They start, well, first Pats and the headmaster come in all drunk and he's got
Lipstick
that shit
all over him.
DNA, take it away. And then the selection of babies start coming in, and like Sappy's like, get out!
And that's when you realize it's just a bad dream. She's been in the ISO tank for 30 seconds.
Right.
And this whole
never
episode,
existed.
this whole episode happened, and she calls Bubble to make sure she's still a moron. And she is.
Right. What's your job? I don't know. To get paid.
And you find out way later that the only reason she's still employed is because she knows too much.
She knows things. But yeah, that one I feel like is us at our most.
And then so I just kind of have highlights. So I have season 1, episode 5 magazine where Pats is the fashion director. You find out, you see like it's the only time she goes into this office, I think. You do see her working other times, but I think this is the first and only time you see her go into the office.
Yeah.
Where she puts on the Chanel suit.
Right. Kiss my buttons.
Yes, that she keeps in the cabinet there.
I tried just to get buttons.
Chanel buttons
to put on a old jacket that was Chanel-ish, and it was like $50 for like 2 buttons.
Oh my god!
For vintage, because you gotta have.
Of course,
it scares the interns.
One snap of her finger, she can raise hemlines so high the world is your gynecologist. And this is the first one that I think Aid Edmondson is in, where he's the food critic at the magazine.
And who is that other woman?
That's, oh God, I know her name and I didn't write it down. She's like a super famous comedian in Britain. And what is her name? She is so fucking funny. Oh God damn it.
She's
we need to
hilarious
research
in this. Like not even her character name comes up. Because I watched it. She shows up like once or twice and she's fucking hilarious.
And I know what her name is, and I think she did a season of Taskmaster. Oh fuck, I'm gonna have to look this up.
She talks about the fucking skin between her twat.
Yes.
Like, it's so horrible.
I'm gonna go through the waffle for me. I'm gonna go through the Taskmaster cast.
Oh
shit!
I don't even know if I'll be able to do it. But he's trying to talk about a classy way.
Joe Brand. Her
there
name
you
is
go,
Joe
Joe Brand. Yes. Oh fuck yeah, she's hilarious. Like he's trying to think of a classy way to talk about what she's talking about, like greasy fucking food served to you by fucking tourists, like, or bloody buggery fucking tourists. Like
I love
being
her.
hilarious. And he was like, well, our dictionary's failed us again today, hasn't it?
And Madge, the editor of the Magda. I love her too.
Okay, all right.
Yes. She is no fucking nonsense.
All right, I'm off.
She does what she fucking wants.
Accent.
She runs this fucking place.
I can't even do it.
No.
Like, you can't even say the things that she says. Like, unless you know who Magda is.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to explain that to you.
And I think this is where also Patsy tells Safi her story about her mom having her in her late 40s and never knowing her dad. And
right, and her entire name.
Oh, God, what is the full name?
Oh, God damn it. I wrote it. Look at me, old lady.
And I think this is also where you first see Dawn French as the TV host, just in the background on TV.
I forget what the name of her is, but
says,
Patsy's full name. Eurydice Colette Clytemnestra Dido Bathsheba Rabelais Patricia Cocteau Stone.
And is this the episode where you get that flashback of her whole? Because you get a couple of them, right?
I think is when they're locked up in that room. Is that where she talks about her mother?
I feel like
you had everything.
I feel like there's at least 2 episodes where you see the
flashback
of the mom.
Horrible to her. Like, just die already.
Oh yes. You understand very quickly why Patsy is the way that she is.
Oh, yeah. Well, that and her sister Jax.
Yes. Well, and even Gran, even Eddie's mom, who like you think of as a sweet old lady, the way she talks to Eddie is shady as a motherfucker.
Oh, she is a shade assassin.
The fat jokes never end.
Yeah. Or a roly-poly pudding who no one wants to meet.
She says at one point that she was 44 weeks pregnant and that the nurse had to entice Eddie out with a suet pudding. So she's been saying fat jokes since she was fucking born.
What is even a suet pudding?
Let's find out. Let's find out what's a suet pudding.
No, find out. We're
our own research
We're doing it ourselves.
Tonight.
We could do everything.
Sisters
are doing it for themselves. party and it's like that close-up rave.
You're not going to like it. It's
What?
a steamed pudding of suet, raisins, corn syrup, nutmeg, cinnamon, and cloves served with a warm sauce of milk, butter, sugar, and vanilla. What is suet? I feel
don't
like
want
that's an animal fat.
I feel like it's meat.
Suet is
Meat
the
gristle.
raw, hard fat of beef, lamb, or mutton found around the loins and kidneys. Your face!
How do you even decide that you can eat that shit?
But with sweet stuff.
So
yeah, put all this. Give me some beef fat. Put it with raisins and cinnamon and butter.
pudding. Sometimes it's kinda.
So yes, all throughout this series, Patsy has hated Safi from the moment
the
she
little
was born.
piece of dribble piss.
And so season 2, we get more into that. And we find out in Morocco. Oh, no, wait. First, let's do Granddad's Died. Season 2, episode 2, Death.
She's getting wrapped up.
And they're doing the rave. They're doing us doing Coachella.
In
the house.
During, what was that? During Hot Chip?
Yes, just high as fuck, drunk as hell, watching fucking
In
Hot Chip in the
seats.
garage.
Just us two.
Yes. Yeah, so I had to note there, us.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Oh my God. Us all the time. Us. All of this is us. Every time when it's just them, it's always just them.
Yes.
It always comes down to just them two.
And Safi informs her that Granddad has died, and Safi is the only one who gives a fuck.
Right?
Gran
She's
is like,
just-
whatever.
Well,
I'll
daddy.
have more free time.
Right? And like, this is when Marshall has the other therapist girlfriend.
And this is also the one where Eddie's body soaks up all the mud wrap.
Yes, and this nurse, she comes up a couple of
Oh
times.
yeah, the nurse is a recurring
was she
character.
in the movie too?
She
I
was
feel
in
like
the movie.
She was in the movie
Yeah.
too.
And so yeah, and this is where she buys all the art, and then she
Yes,
thinks
she
that her
hangs it in
dad's
the-
body is part of the
Some
art.
sort of oblong. It's just how he looks like he's out of it, Ed. And like they stay home and send Bubble to represent her because Safi's like mad at her that she's not more upset.
Yes,
But she's upset because she comes down.
she's gonna die someday.
Well, that she's gonna die, but that every pore is an overeater. Her body is
Has
soaked
soaked
up
up.
the mud.
Yep.
Every time I think about getting a wrap, I think about that happening.
It's gonna just.
It's just gonna suck it all up.
And then the Morocco episode is the one where not only
Pop
do they
Specs.
Pop Specs,
Specs.
fucking iconic, and they sell Safi into slavery.
Shit, yes, they do. Well, Patsy does.
Patsy does.
In the marketplace, she sells her, and like Eddie doesn't care. She's like, well, she wanted to see how they live.
Yep, she's gonna get to know.
And there was Humphrey.
And was this the one where you said they first talk about Patsy's sex change?
Oh, right, only for a year, but then it fell off. But
Yes.
her and Humphrey, he calls her like old man and old sport and whatever, and they have this flashback of her dressed up as Sergeant Pepper.
Yes.
He's played. Let's do that Sonny and Cher number. They say no. They say
And so Patsy Stone spent a year as Pat Stone.
right, and then later comes back as Pat Stone.
Yes,
And
so
they
that
get
comes up
married.
a couple times. And you know what? It's already a good time for a break.
Is it already?
It's already, and we're only to season 2.
This wheel is on fucking fire.
We'll be right back.
Yes. Nicole,
Tessa,
guess what?
what?
The Anchor ad is gone.
I forgot to tell you something.
Well, you're always forgetting stuff.
Anchor turned into Spotify for podcasters.
Oh, what? So
Yeah.
they changed it.
Yeah, but all they changed was the name.
Oh, thank goodness.
You can still create, edit, and distribute your podcast from the phone or the computer.
Wait a minute, though. Is this still free?
It is still free.
Ah,
And
yes.
you can make money on Spotify for
What?
podcasters.
No way. They're actually going to pay you for this?
They'll give you an ad. You can get subscriptions to your podcast.
Other people will pay you too?
Can you believe that we get paid to do this?
That's silly.
And if you want to see how easy it is and make some money on the side, go to spotify.com/podcasters.
You should do it. We're doing it. You do it. Everyone should do it.
Tell them Doom Generation sent you.
Yes.
Yeah, we're back.
We're back, and it's season 2, episode 4, The New Best Friend, when Bettina and Max come to visit.
And yeah, we get a lot of flashback of
The white box.
and Bettina was like an asshole, right? Wasn't
Well,
she like
she was kind of to Patsy because Patsy's all upset that they're coming. She was like, and even
Her other
Gran
friend.
says like, oh, she was such a nicer friend for you rather than sad old Patsy. And like they have the flashback of the box and like Patsy and Eddie go to visit and Patsy walks into that art installation. She's like, it cut me to ribbons. I should have sued. And Saffy's like, oh yeah, weird that it hit you in the same place behind both ears.
her first face?
But they come with this baby and like fuck everything up. And then at the end of it, you hear
Patsy
Eddie.
fucking
Eddie.
Oh, Eddie fucking the husband. That's
fucking
right.
Max, yeah, on the thing because she's
On the
like
baby
all
monitor.
stressed out.
Yeah.
They're like, oh well, at least you have Max and like the baby and whatever. And then you hear Eddie and Max on the fucking. She's like, is that it? He's like, it's been so long.
Oh,
They feel like they did come up again when they were stuck in the kitchen. Remember when they were stuck in the kitchen, they couldn't get out? Oh,
did Bettina and Max come up during
yes.
that? They just showed
It
up
was
randomly.
them. And like the baby like grew up to hate her. She's like, Mommy!
I'm drawing a blank.
I feel like it was a later season. They come up again. And it was when they couldn't get out of the fucking kitchen. There was no stairs. The stairs had gone.
Well, because in season 2, episode 6, the finale of season 2, Patsy burns the kitchen down
Well, yeah, but it
because
was
she
after
falls
that.
asleep with a cigarette.
She inhaled our kitchen.
Little bitch troll from hell. That's
Yes.
I think the first time she calls her that, which she calls her I think several
All the
times throughout
time.
the
Well,
series.
before that, we find out that they're poor when they get cut off. Before
Yes.
that,
So right before she burns down the kitchen, we find out that both of her ex-husbands have been paying her alimony and have been making this house payment.
they've been both paying for the house, both paying child support, both paying alimony.
Because you will have been wondering at this point in watching the series how she has so much money when her PR business is really not that successful.
Lunch.
It's not that successful.
No, it doesn't seem to be. She's got Lulu,
She's only ever had 2 clients, I think.
Queen Noah,
She gets Twiggy at one point, and then Baby Bunton.
Baby
Later.
Bunton. But yeah, they have to go through all her finances, and Safi just fucking loves this because she doesn't care. She's gonna be fine regardless. Like Justin will take
Well, at
care
this
of
point,
her.
she's almost 18, I think, in the series, so she's
Right.
about ready to like go off to college.
What is it they say? This charge comes up again and again. Don Alfonso de Colombo. Like,
Oh, who could that be?
yeah, it's wicker baskets.
And then after that is when Patsy burns down the kitchen.
Right. Well, they have that whole day where she's going to be financially less money, and she goes out and does the shopping, and they steal the crate of
Yes.
champagne and end up getting arrested and getting that fight, and they like run through and get the boot and like end up costing 50,000 pounds, and they have to do community service.
Community service. We've managed to avoid it so far.
No. But then the next one is when she burns down the fucking, she inhaled our kitchen.
And you get more of Patsy's backstory. My mother didn't give birth. She had something removed. And we see her birth.
Right. Take it away.
Bring me another lover. And when Ed told me she was pregnant, I said, chuck it down the pan.
Abort, abort, abort.
Bring me a knitting needle.
A knitting needle. And then she slaps
Slaps
like,
her. Oh, so much of this show is the physical comedy. And that's something so like this show, if you've never seen it, if you lived in Britain, this show is fucking part of your life. If you were born after 1980, I think. Like,
well, that thing said that they're like, I mean, they're like
huge
legends.
there. Right, yeah, they're legendary. And like one
I
of
mean,
the
they are
things
to
that they
us.
do, and one of the things they did for us was let women have slapstick fucking
Well, that
comedy.
and
Let
be
them be
'cause they're
awful.
awful. Like the thing I love about it is that because it's like, who cares? We're always gonna have fun. Just like we're gonna go out and we're gonna have a good time regardless of what anybody thinks, and they do it in a kind of a horrible way. But like,
They're very selfish. They don't think of anybody
No,
else, but
no,
they do
they're
it in a very
terrible fucking
entertaining
people.
way. And they were never supposed to be anything but terrible fucking people. You're not supposed to really root for Patsy
No,
and
but
Eddie,
you
but you
do.
do. You
You
want something to work out for
do.
them.
I want everything for them. I want to live that fucking life. I want to be that fucking awful.
You got to start getting. We are way past our fucking injection dates.
Oh, I know.
We
they
should
keep-
have been
they
getting the injection since we were fucking 29.
Well,
Or no, I think when we start here, they're ostensibly 39.
yeah,
quote
that's
unquote.
that's what Patsy says. Well, in comparison, what did
Well,
that
Eddie's
thing that I
actually
say?
39 because we do her
Probably.
40th birthday happens
Yes.
during the series.
She has her 40th birthday. That's in season 2,
Yeah, I think. And then like
right? The 40th
Pat
birthday.
or Safi throws a party, but the party is just like her
just
ex-husband's.
ex-husband's little fucking 2 bastard ex-husbands,
Because her only friend is Patsy.
right?
That's all
And her
she's got.
ex-husbands.
Yes.
And Safi and her son, my only pride and joy.
who ignores her and has run away.
You didn't invite him, and she slaps her.
So there's a special. So between season 2 and season 3, like right before season 3 airs, there's a little special called "How to Be Absolutely Fabulous."
Yeah.
But like for whatever reason, all of the little TV specials they did with her, it was just Jennifer Saunders.
Yeah.
And so they didn't do as well. They're not as
They did. Joanna Lumley was out doing like James and the Giant Peach, and she was doing a bunch of shit.
She's a Bond girl.
Well, she was a Bond girl in Her Majesty's Secret Service, and
Yes.
the only one with George Lazenby.
Yes.
The only one where Bond gets married. She has a lot of nerve talking about Bond. The only Bond was Sean Bond.
And so season 3, the highlights, we've got right off the bat, the door handle, searching for the door handle. They go all the way to New York
Yes.
to find,
They
because
have
she
this whole
cannot,
fucking day. She cannot.
part of Absolutely Fabulous is that this kitchen always
Yes.
changes. Every season, the kitchen is a new kitchen.
Well, she wakes up to that the organizer thing going off or whatever, and she's going to organize all this. No wasted minutes.
yes.
And she's just finish the kitchen is all Safi wants her to do. Just finish the kitchen. So they go to New York to take a picture of a doorknob she saw somewhere.
Yes.
She gets her belly button pierced.
Oh God, and it gets so infected. And it turns out that so she comes home, this kitchen is done.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? It was, Safi's birthday.
The whole day. Like, you don't get to do that.
Yeah. Like, and then she somehow turns it back around on Safi that now she's the victim because you didn't tell me it was your
Right.
birthday and let me ignore you. And so
Right.
now
You let me do this
you
all
made
day.
me be an asshole.
She's so awful.
And then we meet fucking Patsy's sister Jackie. So
Oh,
this is
Jax.
season 3, episode 2 is New Year. They're trying to go out, but Jax is coming.
Right. So we can't go. Jax is going.
We gotta
out
wait
with
for
us.
Jax.
We gotta wait for Jax, and she doesn't want to go anywhere
Because
wants
she
to,
is
like,
how old?
I'm 72.
And Patsy has to do
Like,
the math.
how
Like,
old
wait a
does
minute.
that make me?
Fuck. And that's where you first
Right?
figure out she's a bit older than
Right.
Edina.
Well, she tries to get the money. She eats the potpourri.
Yeah, she's
Jax
like, because she didn't used to eat, so
Right, so
Patsy
she
doesn't
know.
eat,
She
and
tries
Jax
to give her
doesn't eat.
nibbles, and she like wants money for the
And then
little
this is where she
darlings.
eats the chip because she's trying to
Yes.
get Jackie food.
She's like, "Can I get something to eat?" And they're like,
What do you need something
They're
to
all
eat
they all
for?
pass it over and they all stare at her. And she puts the crisp in her mouth.
She doesn't even know how she like chokes immediately.
Right.
And she just wanted the money. So once
Right.
Patsy helps Jackie steal everything out of Eddie's house that's worth money, and then you don't ever see Jackie again. I don't
she
think. Do
comes
you?
up one more time.
Okay.
In what is it, season 4 or 5? I think she shows up on a New Year's when they're stuck at home.
Another New Year's?
Yeah, or no, Christmas. It was a Christmas
Oh, okay.
episode. And she shows up on a Christmas episode and she tries to kill Patsy with that voodoo doll.
Oh.
And then they think Patsy's dead because she's in
Okay.
the hospital. And they're like, oh, Mrs. Stone passed away last night. And they're like, and Safi's
But it's
like,
her.
and under the sheet, she comes out from the bathroom and Safi's like, fuck.
Nope, it was her sister.
She's like, Merry Christmas. Like, looks at her. Oh, I love that one.
We can't not mention season 3, episode 3, Sex, where she finds the Razzle in
Razzle?
Serge's room.
Year 72 month March. Oh, okay.
And they hire Idris Elba
Yes.
and another sex
They're
worker.
gonna hire. Yes, they have two. Christopher comes with his portfolio. He's very discreet, but he's not.
And now somebody later, so now that's Christopher, but in the movie, the kid from Glee plays Christopher. His name is also Christopher.
Well, I mean,
so I don't
maybe
know if he's supposed to be the
Christopher, 'cause
new.
he comes up again. Christopher is in the last.
He's in a few
shout.
ones, yeah.
Well, he's definitely in the last shout because he shows up to do the hair.
Yes.
And what is it, Nikki Ryan? Nikki something.
Yeah.
Nikki Clock.
Nikki Clark.
Nikki Clock. But yeah, he shows up with his portfolio and he's the pimp and they pick out Idris Elba and the other guy.
And then that's where Eddie's like, I don't really want to have sex
this
with
shit,
either of them. Like,
She's like, they're Chanel boots, don't touch them.
she doesn't want them to touch her.
The tape gets switched. Like Patsy has that old
Yes.
orgy tape.
Of like where Eddie's just passed
She's
out in the
passed
corner.
out in the corner and it ends up in the genetics and ethics.
The
Genetics at the school.
Yeah,
And they
Safi
have to
plays it
run
at school.
They have to run through all the halls of residence and whatever. And like Christopher and the drag queen, like, what are we even looking for? I don't know. We're just caught up in the drama.
And then I think we can skip through to the end of season 3, the end.
Right. Where they go their separate ways. You think this is it? They're breaking up.
Yep. And Pats goes to New York with Magda because the
Right.
magazine's folding. She's
We'll
going
see
to a
you
new
later.
magazine.
Don't count on it, babe.
And they, of course, both have a miserable time.
Oh, yes. Because Edina goes to that spa that.
Yes.
With
the
that
crunchy
woman that's
spa.
like humping her leg. She's like, can you feel it? Like, no, but I can smell
it.
She's like, I'm so bored.
And so, of course, she has to go rescue Patsy,
Patsy's on the roof of some building.
drinking her Stoli out of the
Stoli
bottle.
Out of the bottle. And here comes Edina in this helicopter like, yeah, babe.
Stoli, babe!
Yes, I got a Stoli. Oh, we'll have a Stoli. She's like, just land right here. And like, we can't land. She's like, I can't find the stairs.
And you find out that it's only been 3 days.
Yeah, it was
They
like
were
a
apart.
miserable 3 days that they were apart. That's us. And we can't spend.
No, we spend 4 days apart every week. Come on, be
Well,
realistic.
that's
4 days.
True, but like, not really.
If it goes more than
we're
4,
like constant, like a day we don't speak to
oh
each
yeah,
other.
that's true.
I mean, that's you could if we're not speaking to each other, you might as well be in New York or you might as well be in a
True.
spa. And I might as well be stuck on a roof where I can't find the stairs. I'm not happy.
And Safi reads Patsy to filth when they get back. This is not how it's going to
Yes!
be. And then 25 years later,
Of course, it is exactly how it's
she has a flash of them being
God, when
exactly
they're
the
old, Patsy
same.
needs changing.
Oh, it's so
She
disturbing.
breaks her hip. Oh, that's the menopause one too.
And Patsy's big panties fall down, and Eddie's helping her off with
They're
them.
next door, and like Safi has her little pig-nosed daughter, little dribble-pissed daughter, Victoria. That's a real bummer, and the other boy is cool.
Right.
Her son
so
is
in the
cool.
which did not turn out to be true, that she really had a little
And
daughter
mother's
and
still
son.
with us. Oh, you're still with us.
And she was up until the end.
Well, she was. She died. She was old when she
Yeah.
passed away.
She made it to the movie.
Yeah. In 2016, I feel like she passed away shortly before
after.
it came out, maybe.
Maybe.
Or like right around that time. But yeah, there was like a picture of all of them all solemn at the funeral or whatever. Julia Sawalha and Jennifer Saunders and Joanna Lumley.
I have problems with all their names. And then then there's a lull. So they do the last shout in 1996 where there's this. So I'm going to guess they thought this was like the series was over.
Right.
This was going to be the wrap up to the series where they have this big
That's
special
why it was the last shout.
where Safi's going to get married to
Paolo Carlo.
the whitest dude with the bluest eyes
And
named
this
Paolo
fucking
Carlo.
asshole, when they come down, he's like, ladies, please. And she's like, oh.
She's like, he is such a fucking douchebag.
She's ironing his shirt. It's all
Ugh.
crisp.
And thank God that does not happen.
Well, she gets her wedding dress done by Kristen Lacroix.
Christian Lacroix,
Kristen Lacroix.
which will come up again later in the season. She brings up, yeah, I know who Christian
He
Lacroix
made
is.
my
He designed
wedding dress. But yeah, she, if anybody, because that's when Marianne Faithfull plays God. There's a couple of
Yes.
times when she has to do the plastic surgery.
And that's a great episode
Her
too.
tiny little feet.
And he like is doing liposuction and it
Right.
sucks her whole body
And
up
her
to like
face
tiny.
turns into the land of confusion.
Yes, with them big old lips.
Oh no!
And then there's a break. So from 1996 to 2001, there's no Absolutely Fabulous.
Nothing for you.
And then we come back with series 4.
Right.
We get
Series
7
4.
episodes. Starting with Parallax,
Oh
where
God, this is so much.
Eddie Pie Hands, Eddie
Eddie
Pie
Pie
Hands.
Hands, Eddie Pie Hands. And like Safi's come up, she's got her hand,
dead
little,
hand.
her little dead hand like wedged up underneath her, and like Patsy shows up with him.
You find out Patsy's
She's
been
like, how did
testing
you
her.
test it? Like, have you seen her hand?
She's been testing her face paralyzing
Oh, it's
drugs
fabulous,
on
darling.
Safi's hands.
She's like, Eddie, I think. No, Eddie, I think. Eddie, I think.
And we meet Katie Grin, her
Yes.
new TV partner, who is also Bubble, the
But
same actress.
Well, like Bubbles in there somewhere, isn't she?
She's there, yeah. Because Katie gives Bubble her breast milk domes, and
Mm.
she claps them together like horse hooves and runs gallops. And this is, I feel like season 4 is where Bubble officially launched into like she had her own
stratosphere.
hilarious, insane fucking
Where
side.
was the one where instead of getting the laptop, she got the lap dog and she found it in her purse? Like, oh no, it's not forever. It's just for Christmas.
I don't remember, but I do remember that. But I don't know which
I've
season
grown
that
so
was
fond because Eddie tells her, get rid of it. She's like, no, I
I've grown so
can't.
fond of it.
Well, is this the one? Well, also Bubble does the Jean Duran
That's later, I think.
voice.
Still,
Okay.
and so this is where. So we haven't mentioned Titicaca yet.
Oh, good Titicaca.
So this is where she's getting too frisky on half a cider, teasing Safi
right.
about the
Like,
job
ooh,
interview.
do
You
you
wanted
want-
to
You want to sex him?
and Safi slaps her. And this
She
is
gets slapped a lot.
Titicaca gets slapped all
She
the
gets
every
slapped with a
episode.
restraining order against her
Yes!
from Emma Bunton. Emma
She
Bunton.
sure does, and she's a good like.
Oh,
You don't
she's-
need comic relief in a show that's all comedy, but she's like,
Oh God, Titicaca is also another like Titicaca is also a moment.
yes, that's a whole nother.
She's
She's
something
always
else.
insane. Like she seems like she gets hypersexualized by weird things,
Sometimes.
and that's why she
When they were in
slaps
the
her.
bath, when they were playing Patsy and Eddie in the bath, we poured all their champagne down the toilet.
She's like, we were 6
Or they were 10.
or whatever. We were 10. Shut up.
In the bath, darling.
And you find out that they had set her pigtails on fire.
Yes, she was like, "Well, it's a good thing I've got thick skin, except for this part right
And
here."
she has a big ass burn on her
She's
neck.
like, well, since she gave me that chemical pill, like it wasn't a chemical pill. She lit your pigtails
she
on
lit
fire.
your pigtails on fire.
She was standing too close to the candle.
Oh. And so she, Patsy injects Eddie with all of that shit
She
for
wakes
her
up, she's-
interview.
well, yes. Well, she's going
She's gonna
on
be on TV,
television, and
yeah.
Twiggy's doing the Fist Across America, where it's the radical
Gay pride.
gay pride. She's like, we're not taking it lying down anymore. And like, Safi's trying to get a job somewhere or whatever. When she comes down the stairs, like,
And her head just bobbing.
He's like,
And
what do
she
we
just slaps her like she
So what
thinks
do we
she's
call
faking
people
it.
like this now? And he's like, she's just faking it. Stop it. Stop it.
Mama.
She's drooling.
And it ends with her in a neck brace with Safi feeding her.
Force feeding it. Like it's all over the fucking.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
She's like, well, you slept. It sunk. That's what Patsy tells her. Like, this is all your fault.
And then, I mean, It just gets better. Like you would think a show that went away and came back and tried to do like a revival would get worse, but no.
The other good one or whatever is the then there's the fish farm with the Jago and Doggy with the guy that's doing the landscaping where she gets laid.
And I think that was just the second one.
Yeah, that was the second one. And it's like, beget the son and heir. Beget the son and heir.
And they find out that Doggy spent all the money.
Yep.
And sold the estate to Roger Daltrey.
It's a fish farm. No!
And then the mother and daughter photo shoot.
Yes.
And she's trying to get her to go to the photo shoot. And this is the one where she gets her to get her tits out on the Eiffel Tower.
Yes, when they go to France. Like, let's do your day. I don't want to be like that because Safi realizes she's being Gran.
And this is like the only time she ever snaps out of being Gran.
Well, because she ends up in that magazine with her tits out. And she like reverts.
Which if they're nice, so what?
Well,
Safi, get them out.
Quite big tits. And then after that, she writes that play.
So that oh god, that's an iconic episode.
Is
it a bee?
Love this episode.
Is it a bee?
Is it a bee? Is it on me? The bee's on me. The bee's on me.
I laughed so hard with the is it a bee? And we've been saying
is it a bee? Find it, kill it.
Is it a bee for so long in this house?
Is it a hat? Is
it a bee? She does that a few times.
It's a small shoe.
And no, it's not a bee. It's a very small Nokia phone.
It's a very small phone, and on the phone is a.
Is it Surge?
It says Surge. Stop, Mama's coming. Mama's coming. Mama's coming. I'm gonna call the police.
But no, it turns out that Safi's done a play.
She's very high. That's the whole thing.
That
They're
too.
Sorting pills in the beginning.
Yes,
that's why she's
can't
figure
eating
out
all of the drugs in the kitchen.
She doesn't know what it is, and this is when Eddie calls the cops. Patsy's up there burning syringes and eating everything. She dies.
And that's when she calls Safi a little piece of dribble.
Yes, or she says, don't call the police. Not the pigs, not the filth, not the porkies. Patsy knows.
And she wants her to shut down the play. And she's like, no, this is like
I
my
have
fucking
to shout
life.
it openly.
She's so cold. I bet she has her period in cubes.
You had everything.
Yes, and
it's like we took you to the park.
That one time they took her, and she has that flashback of them fucking.
Yeah, this is where she does call her a piece of dribble piss.
Yes,
she said like they end up going to the play, right? And she's like, she wrote shit. It's like it's fucking flat snot.
But it turns out they love it.
Oh, everybody loves
they're
it.
the stars.
It's a
comedy.
She goes, who's playing me? Am I in it?
Yes.
And she was like, okay, I want you to be honest with me. How fat is the woman playing me?
Like, that's all she cares
about. And all
about.
the people in all the world, no one will ever be as fat as you.
Oh, the time she gets really furious at her.
I know.
Great.
It's so good. But yeah, they do go to the...
They go to the play. They love the play.
Well, everybody shows up, Marshal and Bo, and they're rabbis now in the Kabbalah.
There's always some
and Mo's
religious
got
spin.
one of Babs's old wigs. Papa, can you hear me? Babs is here. Papa, can you see me? People who need people. But yes, the Patsy's played by a drag queen. Eddie's played by a much older woman.
Yes.
But everybody loves her. They do the whole knitting needle. However, the day after.
And then the next episode is the menopause one where Twiggy finds Gran, who's been in her kitchen for 2 days.
I found them.
Madonna and Guy Itchy.
One white paw. Yes, that's her.
Because Edina's been sending her mother out to find
she
Madonna.
Knows that they live somewhere nearby.
And then, of course, Marshall and Bo arrive. They're out of their Kabbalah drag. It didn't work out.
Well, is this when Patsy comes down and breaks her wrist?
This is right when.
She's like, you're working too hard. And
she does her little chop massage and cracks her fucking wrist.
Just a little break or whatever. And I'm Edina.
When she cracks it back into place and you just run across the room.
She's like, last week I cracked my ankle getting it into a Jimmy Choo.
And she's like, Safi tells Eddie,
She's
go to
like,
work.
"You go to
I will
work,
handle
I'm gonna
this.
handle this." And Patsy gives her a little bottle, like, help me, Saf. And Saf takes
Saf
it.
drinks it.
All right, let's go. And she takes him to the gynecologist. Like, Patsy has osteoporosis. She has the lowest bone density
of
on
all
record.
time, yes.
Oh, good job, sweetie.
And Pats gets on hormones and gets all womanly and wants
Saw
a baby.
The FHT, the DDT, the MYT, the belladonna, eglantine, black cohotion, dong. Ooh, dong.
And she bids on Mick Jagger's sperm at an auction.
Don't
'cause
you
she
like
wants-
me as I am? She like, I think you need to get your levels checked.
And it turns out it was all a nightmare
Oh,
that Safi had.
Wait, and this is where I had the thing where Katie Gran and I used to watch her on Blue Peter, and I had a Blue Peter badge. Is that where the Rue Peter badge comes from Drag Race
Yeah,
UK?
Blue Peter was a show that was a really popular kids show on British TV.
I just put that together in my little notes, sweetie.
And at the end of season 4, here is the mystery episode.
Yes, gay.
Gay. Where we finally meet Serge.
I was like, I know this fucking
Yes.
happened. I swear I thought I hallucinated it.
But for whatever reason, this is available on Tubi.
It's
But
on
when you
Tubi.
look up how many episodes was in season 4, it will tell you 6. So I guess this was a Christmas special
That's what it says.
where you finally meet Serge.
My son, Serge. She goes
Played
to
by
New York.
Josh Hamilton. Is that his name?
Yes,
Josh
Josh
Hamilton.
Hamilton, which we think is Martin, his partner.
So we thought in our heads, because I feel like we both only saw this episode
Maybe once or twice because they didn't air it.
And in my brain, I was like, oh, I remember the son being Josh Hamilton, but you remembered it being the boyfriend.
The boyfriend.
Because she wants it to be the
Well,
boyfriend.
because her son, who is Safi,
is just Safi
is
as a boy.
dating his mother.
Yes, a man who is very much.
He's got a phone that's not a video phone. I
and
can't
he's showing
meet her
himself.
like this.
Yes.
And he wears those chunkless
Yes.
throughout Fashion Week.
And
my
his-
son is gay, and it's Fashion Week.
Oh. And so, yes, in that episode, you finally meet Serge.
But Patsy knew he was in New York.
She did?
Or was she? Yeah, like she was. He's
Well,
in
she
New
was
York.
in the. No, she just was talking about something different.
Well, she was going to
and
Fashion
because
Week.
she said something about New York,
Well, she
Gran
doesn't
was
wanna
like,
go
yeah,
see
New
him.
York. Because, yeah, she doesn't want her
Well,
to
she
find
doesn't want anything
Serge.
to do with the children.
No.
No.
Well, and she's afraid that they might get along and that
Well,
he'll
she's
be
also
more of
very
a
jealous.
problem.
That's why we had to hide that kitten from her because of what happened last time.
We don't know what she did, but we can
might
guess.
get jealous is all. It's not the same kitten, darling.
So yeah, so like I mean, nothing really eventful happens in the meeting of Serge other than you find out that he's just Safi but a boy.
Right, and then they, she ends up like, oh no, Whoopi.
Oh yeah, Whoopi fucking Goldberg is in this
They
episode.
get married because Whoopi is in this episode.
And Safi and Eddie get married because they're trying to get
Not
Serge's
Safi and
not
Eddie,
Safi and
Patsy
Eddie.
and
Patsy
Eddie.
and
That would
Eddie.
be-
Oh, that'd be even weirder.
That'd be a little weird.
Because she's trying to get Serge's address.
Right.
And Whoopi is someone who works at the LGBTQ place or whatever.
Whatever.
And she ends up
Whatever.
marrying Safi and Eddie. I said it again.
Safi and Eddie, Patsy and
Patsy
Eddie.
and Eddie because they're trying to distract her and get Serge's information.
Is that my office? It falls out and Patsy takes all the files and stuffs it up underneath
All
her
of them.
Chanel.
Oh, and you know what? Before we finish it up, I think we
Yes.
are ready for another break.
Let's do it. It's fucking absolutely fabulous times. I've ashed all over myself.
We'll be right back.
Is it a bee?
Is it a bee? Oh my God, you guys, this show is taking so much longer than we thought.
What are you talking about?
I don't know why I'm talking like that.
Eddie, not the hat.
No,
Eddie,
is it a hat?
is it a hat? That's coming up.
All right, series 5 is in 2003.
Yes, and
This is the longest one, 8 episodes.
right. This is well, yeah, the longest one.
Yeah,
Yes, 'cause
longest
it is.
series.
Now they've been there in the house by themselves, just Patsy and Edina, because Safi
And she's
is
got a
in
whole ass
Africa.
infinity pool in her bathroom.
Yes,
now.
with is this one? No, the dolphins in the.
That's later. So this is the one where she's only in there to pee. She gets in there in the morning.
She
to
like
pee in
falls
the
into
infinity
the
pool.
infinity pool.
And Patsy wakes her up by throwing her a prawn.
yes.
and
shit.
she's got the shower
She's
that
got
does
that
everything, the toilet that does everything,
flushes, and like, oh god, it does all the things.
and she gets
Like
the
you
spray
moved,
tan.
darling. She's like, I haven't moved since 1973.
And the nurse comes. That's when the sassy nurse comes back.
With the spray tan, she wants like the Donatella collection.
Pants off, Eddie.
Winter day.
I do have my pants off.
Oh, you gotta lift
the
it,
belly.
lift the belly.
Turn around, pull everything apart. That fucking spray tan is terrible.
Oh, it looks like a crime scene. She's all crinkled in her eye bits. It's everywhere. And when she talks about like, since Safi's not been here, like we could do whatever we want, and like, well, the forbidden fruit maybe tastes a little better when she's, the warden's
She
around. She's
misses
like,
her.
no, you can't go you must go in today.
But now she's got Emma Bunton as a client.
Oh, right. Well, like you have to go into the office because if you don't, it's forbidden.
And Bubba, would you like a jelly baby?
Yeah, jelly baby. Oh,
Don't call her baby, call her Emma.
Baby, bye, baby, bye.
And oh god! And again with the clip clop.
Yeah, clip clop. And then this is when she's like, she's trying to get Emma to do other things. She's like, nobody wants you to be best friends with your mum. They want you like fucking in a gutter, pissed drunk in a gutter with this little thumb jammed up Justin Timberlake's arse.
She's trying to get Baby Spice to sully her image for media.
Right. She's like, I do have a single out. I did 6 months in Chicago.
Where the fuck have you been?
Yeah, where the fuck you're my
And
PR.
But her office is at home now. There is no more outside of the home office.
She's got Saddam's feet and the American
and
flag.
Patsy's now, she's running Jeremy.
Right. She's not
doing
working
Jeremy. For the magazine. She's doing Jeremy, the shop
Eddie
now.
is just, the smoking beagle to Patsy's vivisectionist. She's got that gigantic yellow Hummer. Is this where she... Because on the pages of the days.
The paper days.
On the paper days. The paper days. On the pages of the days. She comes.
Oh, Safi's coming back.
Yeah, you're channeling her. Like, Safi comes home today.
And Patsy just starts shrieking.
Like, no!
And so they have to clean. Emma directs them cleaning the house because it's filthy because
it looks
she's
like
been gone.
Winos have been slumming it here, shacking up here.
And Saf comes home super tan. She's been a humanitarian aid worker.
Were you a shield? Like, no, I was a humanitarian worker. And she's trying to tell her.
She's like, you're fat. Like she tells her she came back fat.
Like, well, you came back fat.
I'm not fat, I'm pregnant.
Well, you should tell people that when you first see them. You don't want them thinking you're fat.
So that's the big reveal is that she's pregnant.
She's come back pregnant. Like, oh shit. She's going to be a grandmama.
And she wakes up on the next episode, or not wakes up, but she's having that nightmare about the toddler
stress
terrorizing her.
I'm a baby.
That midwife is amazing.
Daphne Demurier midget.
Oh my God. She's hilarious.
She comes through with that.
Because Safi wants a home birth.
Right. She wants to have a home. Oh,
and her midwife
in the bed and begging for drugs.
Her midwife is a little person who's also Irish. I'm guessing by the accent.
Treated my body like a smorgasbord. She has a little model.
Yeah, she's trying to scare Safi out of the home birth.
Let's have an arrest. Stitch her up, nurse.
Oh my God.
But yeah, she's like, oh, hold on. I have to say goodbye to your mother. I'm a little baby. She's like, why does she do this?
And Patsy comes in and she's like, 25 weeks, you're too late.
Yeah, oh, yeah. She was like, she throws her a card. She's like, I'm not going to say anything.
You're too late.
So sometimes it's kinda. She's like, you think you would have survived in the natural world? Like you wouldn't have lived to see the sunrise. You would have been drowned at birth.
Yep.
I'm not saying anything. Anything.
And so, but the crux of this episode is she finds out that the baby's dad is not a pasty white humanitarian aid worker from Europe.
4'11",
but a big tall black man.
Is it that big? Is she pregnant by that big black
guy?
Yeah. Oh my God, that is the single best accessory.
Yes.
Like even Patsy's like, we don't want him. We don't want
We don't need him.
We don't need him. She's like having this dream of having this mixed race baby going with like,
That's all that
doing
matters.
Yeah, that's
It's
all
a
that
mixed
matters.
race baby.
And because this is where, because John doesn't know. Oh, he's not gonna want to have anything to do with you sad little pram face.
But he does, because he adopts her into his harem of wives.
Well,
We will
when
find out
he
later.
finds out because Edina comes screaming
Yeah, he finds
down
out.
the stairs. We don't want it. We don't want the baby. I want the baby. I want the baby. I'm pregnant.
Ugh.
Yeah, well, you should tell me when we first see you. You don't
So
want people
nobody
think-
thinks you're
so
fat.
nobody thinks you're fat.
That's all he can say too.
Yeah, John Johnston.
John Johnston.
That's his name.
Oh, and I love the panic room, season 5, episode 3, where she builds.
With little
Eddie
mini,
builds a panic
little
room.
mini driver, mini driver,
Yes!
little mini driver.
and
And
so,
Patsy's got those lips.
yes, she gets her
She has
lips all
those-
plumped,
She has syringes all the fucking time.
just in her purse.
And they end up stuck in the panic room because she's trying to get the necklace off of Eddie for little mini driver.
Is it a dwarf?
Is it a dwarf?
Is it a dwarf? Why do you keep saying that?
Why
Is it a dwarf?
Is it a dwarf? Oh, wait, is this where she asks, is he from Gabon?
No, I
Is
don't
he from
even-
Gabon?
That's later, I think, but she does that a lot.
God, just ask, is he from Gabon?
And they can't think of what mini driver's from. Good head hunting.
Yes, good head.
But Safi loves her from Circle of Friends.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, they get her the rack of clothes. She steals all the fucking clothes.
Right, because
they're stuck in the panic room.
She's got half a Pakistani field in there.
Yes, they're set.
Patsy
They got
can't get
everything
off-
in the
oh,
house
'cause
in
the
there.
way that you win at that keypad, like a what did she
Yes.
call it? A spastic something or other.
I can't remember.
And she's peeing on the toilet and it's not plumbed in, but she can't stop.
She can't stop. They've only been in there 2
Saffron
hours.
Come to the cabinet.
They're
Saffron.
watching her on the security camera.
Well, and that's when Titicaca comes and they talk about being in the bath. What? Is
That's
this a
right.
fantasy?
Ooh.
But,
But
yeah,
no. And
no.
they get let out.
They
Let
finally
out.
get let out. They got let
They
out.
got let out.
Eventually, they get let out.
Just in time for hunting, shooting, fishing.
right. They're going on it because Madonna's made it fashionable again to be out in the country hunting, shooting, and fishing. And
Eddie paid $30,000.
yes, to go on holiday, like off season. There's no hunting.
There's no
shooting.
hunting.
You could shoot clay pigeons.
And this is the one where they're talking about the baby shower, and Patsy's like, "Is it a baby shower?" She does the like small little
baby
no.
shower. Like they're like, what are you? She's so confused.
She's like, "I don't understand." And Titicaca's all freaked out by
Oh, God,
Saffron's
this-
belly.
Oh,
it could
yeah.
be fiddling things.
I wish there
Fiddling
was a
with things
window we
and
could look
nibbling
into
on
it.
things.
Yeah, nibbling on things and fiddling with
I
things.
want to
and-
touch it.
I want to say hi to the baby.
And she has to slap her again.
Right. Well, is this where she gets the restraining order?
Because
from
she invites
Bunton?
Emma Button to the baby shower, which is
It's
just
just
her
them
and
two.
Titicaca. And when she realizes that it's Emma Bunton, which she did not apparently know they went to school
They
with
all
her,
went to school together.
she doesn't realize until Emma Bunton herself slaps the shit out of her.
Right. Because
And then she becomes her stalker.
Yes. 'cause
Yeah.
She gets arrested later.
Yes.
Oh, that's right. When she comes home after thinking she killed that pheasant.
Is it
Is it a hat?
That's what I don't know why
She thinks it's dead, and they end
her
up
saying
chasing.
that
Oh
is
God!
the
just her
funniest
saying,
shit to me.
Is it a baby shower?
Is it a bee?
Is it a bee? Is it on me?
Is it a hat?
Is it a hat?
Is it going to be there forever?
Gabon.
Because she kills the pheasant and she says it's the ghost of the
Yes,
pheasant
she
on
was
her
like-
head. Is it going to be there forever?
Oh,
Oh,
all
and
of
then
this is just us. It's just so fucking stupid. This is what we would do.
and then the birthing.
Ah,
Safi has elected to have a home birth.
They get locked into the house
Yes.
because the power goes out because
because John Johnston can't stop fiddling with
What's
the fucking
holding the
wiring
roof
to the
up?
house.
What is the central heating mechanism?
He's like an engineer or something.
I know,
Like,
he's
don't you
like-
have 8 other wives to attend to?
Well, she
Stop
doesn't know
getting
that
into
yet.
the-
Is it a harem?
And then Katie Grin is there,
Yes.
who is also Bubble.
Justin's
Yes.
there.
Why are Marshall and Bo there?
Oh,
Because
she's gonna steal the baby, but
They're
she
gonna steal the
steals
baby.
afterbirth instead.
yes, because they run a off the shelf baby service in Hollywood now.
That's right, because the Kabbalah thing didn't work out.
And Patsy tries to sell them the baby, but she sells them the afterbirth.
Right,
and
she
Bo
picks-
falls in love
I
with
love
it.
anyway.
She bonds to it. And Marshall's like, it doesn't have a face. Like,
That's
really?
right. It's a girl. It's a girl. It's one of ours.
And then we're to the 20th anniversary special, Series 6, 2011, 2012.
Oh, well, we have to talk about the Abbey Road thing when she's dating Pete and he's got the Abbey Road Beatle tapes and they record
that's
over
right. Wait, what's her song?
them. Walking
Down the road.
and
I
people
never-
say hello. And they say, hey.
Anytime she gets an
Your
opportunity,
hair looks great.
she sings it anytime she can.
And then after that is the cold turkey when Jack shows back up and tries to kill Patsy with voodoo.
That's
That's that
okay.
one. But yeah, then we can move on to the after that. It's over.
Then it's the anniversary
but
special.
you never
so you
see
think it's over.
Jane Lola again.
No, so like
living
once
in
she's
Africa.
born, she goes to live in Africa.
Not until the movie do you see her.
No. So we pick back up in 2011 with Eddie showing up to pick someone up from jail, and you assume it's Patsy.
Yes, you think.
Because why wouldn't it be
Of
Patsy?
course it would be Patsy, but no.
It's Saffron.
She has been forging passports and like
For
humanitarian
asylum
aid.
seekers.
And
yes.
she became the big dog on campus, so she thinks.
So she thinks, yes.
And who is what is it? Bryony Bromide
Baron.
Baron.
Yes.
Baron, who
That
Patsy
big old girl.
owes a lot of money to. You gonna be my sweet wifey. Oi.
Keep her happy. Keep her happy.
Keep her happy.
Sweet.
Oi,
Keep
oi,
her
oi,
sweet.
keep her sweet.
And so, yeah, they're like all excited to find out that Safi was the top dog in prison.
Yeah,
but
she
lo and
gives her
behold,
she gives her the daps. She like did
yes,
her time.
yes, Patsy finally gives respect to
She gives
Saf.
her- not her little wasp breaths.
But it turns out that she was only big dog because Baron,
Baron.
who's this big, tall drink of water.
Oh, a long, tall.
And I'm guessing Baron knew from the time she got in because she
I'm
knows right
sure.
away that Patsy's like, you owe me 50,000, 50 bags of sand, 50 buckets.
50 buckets.
What? 50,000 pounds.
50,000 pounds.
And in the meantime, Safi better be sweet to me. So they
Be
gotta
my
come up.
little wifey.
So they gotta come up with this money, or she's not gonna go. But this is where they find out that she's got a pension. That
Oh,
Patsy,
that's right, that
Because
Patsy's
Safi's like,
actually,
"Where's
like-
your pension?"
You surely have been collecting a pension.
She's like, "What?
What are you talking about?
I'm 39." And this is where we determine she's not only very old, she is very rich.
Yes, she has like £1 million.
Well, because not just from her pension, that job she had for the magazine, she has never collected
Nope.
her wages.
she's just been living in that little
So
flat
she
above
had-
the bar,
Yeah.
sponging off of Eddie.
She had millions of pounds from her wages and hundreds of thousands of pounds from her pension.
Yep.
So she's
She's
rich.
A
And
rich
she's
bitch.
never even had a wallet. When she gives her
Nope.
that Stella McCartney, she goes, "It's Stella," and she answers it.
Yeah. Hello?
Hello, Stella? And she's
Stella?
like, "No, it's a wallet. I never had my own wallet.
I never had it myself.
The next one is job. And again, the spa tech comes back.
Oh, yes. She's there.
And I love that
she's
she has
doing the
grown
nails
increasingly
now.
bitter.
Right. It's like, whatever happened to that daughter of yours?
But Eddie's like, "You've mellowed." But that's
Yes.
because she has her earbuds in the whole time
Can't
while she's
hear-
bitching
she
them
can't
out.
hear about how fat she is.
And Bubble's still working for them. The
Mm-hmm.
two dumb girls are working for Pats.
Fleur and Katrina.
And she's got an intern. They've started now a new magazine that they're
Yes,
doing
it's
from
something new.
Eddie's house.
Yeah, it's something else. It's something weird.
And Pats and Eds are at lunch when they see the gendarme.
Gendarme.
Gendarme?
Gendarme.
Gendarme.
Can she sing? Of course she
And
can
so
sing.
Eddie wants to represent her and she wants to sing.
Gendarme.
Turns out when she sings,
I want to work all the time. I want to work. I want to do the things I want to sing. They book her at, what is it? Royal Albert Hall?
yes.
But like a week from Tuesday because somebody died.
And they hear her sing for the first time and all she... That's her singing.
Not even that.
Barely. you can't even
see
hear
me
her.
doing the thing with the shades.
She calls Emma Bunton and Lulu in
Yes.
to help, and she's like, "Oh, you're shouting at me.
Shout at me. She doesn't do
You're
shout.
kidding my muse."
Yes.
So they're like, "All right, fine." So they
Okay.
get. So all of a sudden, she goes on for the critics, and she has a beautiful singing voice.
Oh, everybody loves her. It's
she goes
amazing.
to
Like, how
Royal
did you
Albert
get
Hall, and it's Bubble singing off to the side.
opera.
And she gets all that money. She cackles her way
Yes,
to the bank.
because that's why she has that job. She knows things.
Too much.
Gendarme.
And Jean Durand
and
wants to
Safi
change
loves Jean
management.
Durand,
Yeah.
yeah.
She wants to change management, so they let her go away and have a silent concert at Carnegie Hall because
they can't do it without Bubble.
Yep. And then there's the Olympics where
Yes,
Eddie
this is like
has
the final episode for
before the movie. Yeah.
Yes.
And Eddie has been trying to get into the Stella McCartney store.
Oh my God, she can't figure out that it's pull, not push.
Well, it's that it's locked for everyone but her.
Well, that's what it seems like, but you see
That it's
that
actually
she's
pull, not
pushing
push.
the door. Pushing the door. She pushing the door. It's not a pushing door.
It's a pulling
It's a
door.
pulling door. Where the fuck did I go just now?
I don't know. And she's shouting, Stella! Into the sky because she can't get in.
Well, that and she's booked the house for Catherine Zeta-Jones
no,
and
for
Michael
Mike,
Douglas.
just Michael Douglas.
Well,
they
don't-
barely mention Catherine
They don't
Zeta-Jones,
want her to
but yeah,
come. They want
just
Michael Douglas. They want to get the cervical cancer.
She's trying to figure out why Stella won't give her any designs, and Bubble's like, "What about the one, the pirate man who keeps calling?" And she's like, "John Galliano." That would be
John
suicide.
Galliano.
Oh,
Nobody wants to go with that.
and she mistakes Saf for the help because she's in her African garb from Nigeria. 'Cause
That's
she
right.
went to visit Lola, and John and his 9 wives.
Right, she finds out that she's got 9 wives. Is this where they find out? Because I don't think they knew.
Well, they apparently knew before she went, but this is where we find out
Well,
because
okay,
she
maybe
didn't
that's
seem
what it
super
is.
surprised to
Right,
hear
right,
there was
right,
like
right.
because the Gran is like, "How's the harem?"
The harem.
The harem, and she's like, "It's not a harem.
It's not. It's just I feel very special when I'm with the other wives. Like,
Yes.
okay, I
And-
do love this. The African cloths. I do love that.
And Pat's mistakes her for Eddie because she comes up behind her and is like, "Can you get me some more of the panty pads
Yeah,
for
the panty pads.
incontinence?"
Yes, because she hasn't been there or whatever. Like,
And she turns around with that sneer, like,
like,
"Oh,
no,
incontinence
really? Yes,
pads."
You need that. She's like, oh.
And they get her ready for Michael Douglas when they're getting Pat's ready. And Pat's is like, she doesn't even care. She's what, 70 at this point?
I know.
She's like, I don't care about meeting Michael Douglas. Like, can we just
No.
get high somewhere and
Right?
like have a, hang out?
I mean, really, can we though?
Right?
I don't want to do the Olympics. Can we
No.
just go somewhere? Let's just go somewhere.
And the doorbell rings and it is not Michael Douglas.
Nope.
It's fucking Marshal. Because he was Michael Douglas's caddy.
And Bo.
And he gave him his tickets to the Olympics.
Right. They get to come to the Olympics instead and watch the whole thing.
And so Patsy's gotten into this full body Spanx for Michael Douglas that almost
She
kills
loses
her. She
consciousness.
loses consciousness in this. She can't even stand up.
No, she's
because
all
it's so
bent over.
tight. And now, ladies, if you ever put on a Spanx, you know this is for real. If you put on one like they showed in this show where it was like a neck to fucking
Yes, it
knee,
was like a tiny
Spanx, you would not be able to stand and you
It's
would
like
suffocate.
when Eddie got this liposuction. Like how small?
Yes,
do you wanna
it was
be?
so
She's like,
tiny.
this small.
And Bo has to jumpstart her heart because
Yes.
she just like stops breathing in it. And Bo's accusing Marshall of he picked up sex addiction from Michael Douglas. And
Right.
he's like, I don't have sex addiction. You have menopause.
Yes, because I just saw menopause. We don't believe in it. Not in California. Not in LA. Anyway.
No, it's not. No. And so they get this invitation that he drops where she finally gets to meet Stella McCartney
Yes.
at this Olympics. She designed the games kit
Right.
for the Olympians
Yes.
this year. And she throws herself at her feet and embarrasses herself, gets
embarrassing.
kicked out.
Which is the second designer she's thrown at their feet. Chris Lacroix.
Yes, and gets thrown out, but into this empty stadium. And now they're all into the Olympics.
They're in the middle of the Olympics. It's like fabulous, darling.
They just love that, like, oh, the stadium is so huge.
Yeah,
and they
makes
go
you feel
home.
all whatever. and
They watch the Olympics with the family. Gran had tickets the whole time, but she
Yep.
didn't want to go. She just
Nope.
wants to watch it on TV.
on the telly with my family.
And I love that it ends with Eddie fantasizing about lighting the Olympic torch while
Yes.
Pat lights her cigarette
Yes.
off the Olympic
That's
torch.
exactly what she would do.
She totally would. And then we just have the movie in 2016.
After that, yeah.
And
Where
this
they
is
killed
where you
Kate
finally
Moss.
see Lola, who's now 13 and beautiful.
Yes.
The perfect accessory to any fashion party.
Absolutely.
And this is where Gabon.
Gabon?
Is
Well,
he-
she says it before
She
Gabon.
says it before, but she's asking
Gabon?
about the husband. Is he from Gabon?
Gabon?
Is he still in Gabon?
Why are you saying
Why is she saying Gabon?
Gabon? Is he from Gabon? No.
And Marshall comes to say he's not paying for the house anymore. So he's now, even though we had the episode where Marshall and
He's
Justin
not
stopped
paying for the house, but
house,
he's still paying for the house.
Marshall's been paying for the house. And now
course.
Justin doesn't come back for the movie. I feel like the actor might have died.
Oh, did he?
I'm not positive.
What was it? Christopher Malcolm?
And so, because he's the only one who didn't come back for the movie, I'm pretty sure. Justin was not in the movie.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And Marshall definitely was and Bo was.
Well, of course, because they'd. But why
and
would
so
they
Marshall
have to
comes
be?
in and Bo says he can't pay for the house because now he's transgender.
Oh.
And he needs a sex change.
That's right.
And he's like, you never know what is Marshall really any of these things that she says because he seems like
he did. He died in
right?
2014.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and they just didn't mention it.
No, they didn't. Yeah, I
No.
guess he did. He did. He passed away.
But so Eddie's like, I don't need your fucking money. I'm selling my book.
He was Scottish Canadian. He says he was Canadian in one of the
Yes,
episodes.
he does say that. And so she's like, fuck you, I don't need your money. I'm going to sell my book. And then the book guy's like, nah.
No.
First of all, it just says blah, blah, blah on all
He
these
was
pages.
the dad in Labyrinth. We knew that.
We did know that.
Yeah, we did.
That's
didn't we?
right. I think we mentioned
knew that.
it
I
in the
don't know why
labyrinth that we
was
were like,
a-
fuck, it's the dad from AbFab.
We just discovered it again. He was in Highlander.
This is what happens to your memory,
Superman
guys.
3.
Superman 3.
Red Dawn. Oh, King David. Why did I read that as Red Dong?
Ray Dong Chung? What's happening?
Dong.
Red Dong.
Ray Dong Chong.
Ray Dong Chung.
Ray Dong Chong. Gabon.
Gabon.
Pipette.
But so yeah, they go to the. She wants Kate Moss for her PR. She's going to be her
Right.
new PR, but she ends up knocking her into the Thames with Claudia Bing
That's right.
because
Claudia
they're
Bing
rushing
is the
her.
Bing, 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 and bing.
Because she's talking to John Hamm, and you find out that Patsy took John Hamm's virginity when he was 15, and he is playing himself.
Yes.
And a little taste of the English rose, and he's like, ugh. He's like, oh God,
The Hamaconda threw up.
That's right. But then she comes back later after Kate Bush is thrown in the water and has got lipstick.
Kate
all over.
Moss, not Kate Bush.
Running up that hill. She was running up that river.
It was a mossy bush.
Same shit. Kate Moss.
Kate Bush. Kate Moss. Mossy Bush.
Same person. Iconic in the 80s and 90s. Sure. Why not? So she knocks one of these plant ladies into the water. And the detective on the case is Safi's new boyfriend.
Oh, God, that's right.
And so it's all this like where they're on the run, but not really. Like they get arrested, sort of like in questioning, but
Well, didn't
nobody
they not
knows
even kill her?
No,
Doesn't
they
she
didn't
turn
kill her.
up?
She turns up.
She
They
turns up. Ooh, crack in the floor.
They pushed Bubble into the water to like get her to follow where Kate Moss went,
that's
and then
right,
they think
to
they
go
killed
with the
Bubble too.
tides.
But then they both resurface on Jean-Paul Gaultier's beach, where he's out with his.
That's right.
He's out there with his metal detector. He finds them, and so it ends with Eddie's back. Kate's her client now, but Patsy throughout the movie. So to get away, Patsy has donned her Pat Stone persona again.
She's Pat Stone.
And married an old rich baroness.
Right.
But we find out in the end, she's like, oh, by the way, I'm not a woman, or I'm not a man. And the Baroness is like, and I'm not a woman. And she's like,
It's a Some Like It Hot ending.
yes.
Where it's like,
She
oh, I'm
knew
not
the
a woman.
whole
He's like, well,
time.
nobody's perfect. Oh, it's a classic. I love these women. I love
Oh, what is there to say?
this.
Watch
every
it.
single bit of it is so fucking good. All of the lines, all of the banter, all of the, like, this is a...
This is part of what Doom does to
This
be
is
who
what
we are
part of
today.
What Doom does to make Doom Generation.
Seriously.
This is what inspired the podcast. This is what made us who we are. We are but Patsy and Edina at all times.
Light,
but different
unfortunately.
Or whatever. Yeah,
Yes.
unfortunately or fortunately. Did you
For our
see
children's
at one-
sake, fortunately.
Well, you know, sometimes it's kind of. Did you see at one point Eddie's wearing a jacket where it says Patsy and Eddie on
No.
her fucking what? I forget what it is. It's like an army jacket, and on one side it says Patsy, and on one side it says Eddie.
I did not see that.
Ooh,
Ooh, I'm girl.
girl.
We've been go an hour and a half all of a sudden. I'm 39.
I'm 39.
Only 39.
It's
I'm not
just a
tired.
break.
I'm a party girl.
It's just a little break. Yeah, we have to go rave now.
We gotta go rave now.
The lights have not been on.
Oh no, we haven't had our party on air lights on this whole time.
We've just been. I have lipstick all over my face. I'm spitting on myself. We've literally had that moment with the rave where it's just that really close-up shot of us two.
Just sweaty,
Partying
makeup
on their own.
smeared.
We're doing
alone.
the karaoke wheels on fire. We're arguing over who gets to be Cher. Oh.
And on that note,
we'll talk at you next time.
Later, doers.